What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another deadline stream. It feels like it has been a while since we have been here doing a deadline stream. We did have a little impromptu stream on Sunday evening after the FA Cup results and after the FA Cup withdrawal and Haaland injury. Thank you to everyone who tuned into that one. Since then, we have decided to activate the wildcard. Wildcard is active, and I know a lot of you have done very similar as well. In today's video, we will... Yeah, thanks, Ross. I put them back on, don't you worry. We are back. We'll be answering all of your questions. We'll be looking at the wildcard draft. We're back looking at Arsenal early team news with Arsenal being the early kickoff. We will be keeping an eye out for anything on Bukayo Saka as well. Before we dive in, let's say hello to some of you, and then we will have a look at the wildcard draft in just a moment. Say hello in the chat. Say hello, and we will get into all of that good stuff. So, hello and good afternoon to FPL Raptor Ross. Hello. Hello to Alex. Hello to the Helion. Hello to Everyday FPL. Hello to John, Leonardo, Joe, Immortal, all the members and moderators in Callum, Ian, Sam. Thank you all very much for all your support, and hello to everyone else as well. Oscar, Ivy, Velij, Martin, Ali, Rick, Baseline, Sam, Chelsea, Graham, Ricardo, Frozen, Drawing with Justin, Fantasy Forever, Starboy, Niraj, Rob, Drizzy, Mujahid, Ewan, David, Patrick, Jordan, Toti, Jens, Tom, Johnny, Luke, Grapes, Richard, and everyone else in. Hello. Let's get to the wild card. It's not actually, I haven't confirmed every single transfer. It's not fully set. It's definitely not locked in. We'll talk about the few potential changes that we might be looking to make. The reason I haven't fully confirmed where the wild card is likely to go is, I do apologize, I think that, there we go, is because, for example, if I sell Mykolenko, I won't be able to buy him back at the same price. He's the one that I'm not certain whether he's going to be in the wild card or not. We'll talk about that in a moment. So he's one that I'm, looking at. I haven't sold yet. I haven't fully decided on my backup goalkeeper. I haven't fully decided on the Burn and Mykolenko spots. I would be very surprised if my starting 11 doesn't look like this by the time that the deadline does roll around. I'd be surprised if it doesn't look something like this. Mykolenko. Yes, yep. Kluivert news. So, sounds like Kluivert is a bit of a doubt. General opinion is I'd be surprised if they risk him from the start, but I don't have any insider information on that. Yeah. I'd be surprised if Kluivert starts. I am going to assistant manager in Gameweek 31. Yes, that is the plan. It will either be on Unai Emery or it will be on Glasner, in which case I would have to sell one of my Crystal Palace players. So I would happily sell, I could sell Sarr, I could sell Munoz. There's a chance that I don't go with one of them on the wild card. So, for example, I could just not go with Munoz, or I could just not go with Ismaila Sarr. I could just start without one of them. So I could do that, but I don't know if I like it enough, and I'm not certain enough on which of them I don't want. So at the moment, my plan is to go with all three and sell one of them. I could get rid of Munoz next week. Now, it would be a transfer, yeah. But, for example, if we get table bonus for Emery next week, I want to go there first. And I still want triple Crystal Palace this week, I think, away at Southampton. Now, I think Jacob Murphy is actually a pretty good pick this week because they, without Anthony Gordon, he's more likely to play 90. So I don't mind playing Murphy this week, which makes me more inclined to not go Sarr. But from next week, I think Munoz is a better sell because I don't love the Crystal Palace fixtures for any sort of clean sheet from next week onwards. So at the moment, this is where we're at. I have 0.9 million in the bank, or 1 million in the bank with this team, 1 million in the bank. So with the 0.8 that will be needed for the assistant manager, I have 0.2 spare. I can upgrade Burn to Livramento. I could upgrade Mikalenko to Konza. I could go Mikalenko to O'Brien, also at Everton. I could do Burn to Livramento. These are all small things that I'm considering with that 0.2 million. I don't think I will change Areola. I think I'll stick with him. I don't love any of the backup goalkeepers. So, yeah. That's where we are with that. So, am I sure about Foden picking up points this week? No, I like Foden as a pick without Haaland, Marmoush going up front. It should be a big booster to his minutes. There was a period where his minutes were really good earlier on in the season and he was playing in some of those roles and he started to pick up some really nice returns. I completely get that. I don't think 9.2 is a lot of money to spend on him. And if you're struggling with team value, I would not go with Foden. I'd probably go with Savinho. You never mentioned Eddie Howe as an assistant manager option. I really don't like the Eddie Howe route. The only case in which I like the Eddie Howe route is if there's no table bonus games next week. The issue with the Eddie Howe route is in game week 33, you'll likely move to Emery regardless. Now, in the next 2 game weeks, yes, Newcastle have an extra fixture, but if Aston Villa have a table bonus game at home to Nottingham Forest and then Southampton away, whereas Newcastle have Man United, Palace and Leicester, if all of those games were won, you'd score very similarly across the two. So I don't think there's that much in it. So I'd rather go triple Newcastle and Emery than go with Eddie Howe. There's a lot of questions about Bukayo Saka in this. I think he's going to start. I know a lot of you will disagree. We heard last night that he played behind closed door friendly last week. He came through that absolutely fine. Arteta said he's ready to go. He was asked if he was going to start. He said, yeah. He said if he's ready to start, he said, yeah. We've seen pictures and videos of him in training. He looks fully fit. He doesn't look like a player they're like at the point of managing. They also said that they've gone through the precautionary stage over the past few weeks and they've already done that. So I think Saka starts. I don't think he plays 90, but I do think he starts. I do think he starts, yeah. You cannot afford the Foden, Burn, Areola setup, but you can afford Savinho, Trippier, Flecken. Yeah, that's fine. I think Foden to Savinho is an easy way to free up money if you can't do it. If you're just short, I would consider something like Raya to Martinez. Give you the money for that as well. Yeah, Kluivert is a doubt. Apparently he was tired. They need to check on him before the game tomorrow. My general opinion is I'd be surprised if they start him, but we don't know that. If you don't have any cover on the bench, like I wouldn't own Kluivert on wildcard like at all. Like I saw a few Kluiverts on wildcard, but I wouldn't go Kluivert on wildcard, for example. Like if you've got him and you're not on wildcard, would I sell him? Maybe not. But if you're on wildcard, I definitely wouldn't go with him. What do I wildcard look like if bench boost, free hit and triple captain left? Yes, we'll have a look at that wildcard draft. Well, actually, so I've got assistant manager, of course, so my wildcard will look slightly different. If you are bench boosting in 33, I would look to build something like this. If you have the value to go Savinho, up to Foden, you could try and squeeze that in, for example, but you're probably looking at something like this. Again, if you want to do Martinez to Areola and Savinho to Foden, if you've got the value for that, you can do that. So, yeah. What I think about downgrading Munoz to Lacroix to make a similar team. If I was selling Munoz because I couldn't afford him, I would just go to Konza and just go straight to Glasner on the assistant manager. I wouldn't bother with a different Palace defender. Doku, I don't mind. I do just prefer Savinho. Like, I'm not a big fan of Doku as a footballer. I don't think his output is nearly good enough. Much prefer Savinho. As a result, he'd be the one that I'd pick as well. I know it doesn't quite translate, but yeah. Gordon is suspended this week. He hasn't trained. He's expected to train later on this week and probably be available. Eddie Howe didn't guarantee... Eddie Howe didn't guarantee that he'll be back, but he should be. Do I look at Raptors' team? So, I literally posted a picture in the group chat with him of the team. And then about 5 minutes later, he logged in without looking and posted a similar draft, which was like 2 players different. So, no, I don't look at it. It is just by coincidence. But the issue is, if you look at every draft on Twitter, anyone who's gone Foden, the draft looks almost the same. That's the issue we've got. And that's the issue with what Haaland has done. The Haaland injury has formed an incredibly strong template. It's formed an incredibly strong template. What do I feel about bench boost 32 over 33? My wildcard looks better for if your wildcard looks better for bench boost 32, I do not mind that at all. In this wildcard where I've got bench boost 33 planned, if you want 32, you just go like Verbruggen and Dunk instead of Wan-Bissaka and Areola, and you get a pretty similar thing. So that looks like, here's one I made earlier. So you go Verbruggen, Dunk, and you have a very similar thing. Again, if you can't afford Foden, you just go Savinho in there. Any argument for Marino instead of Saka playing as a centre forward with service from Saka again now, and Saka always produces. Just the more wingers they get back, the less certain it is that Marino will keep his place up front. He could easily stick Trossard in the middle. Yeah, I mean, it could end up being Marino, but I don't think there's enough safety in it. I think Saka starts. And I might be wrong, but I think Saka starts. You need a 7.5 million Foden replacement. I'd just go Savinho. Savinho or Semenyo, definitely Savinho. Semenyo's won 9 yellow cards as well as the fixtures not looking great. Thoughts on Ederson and Raya drafts? If you can afford Ederson and Raya, that's great, but most of us don't have the value to get anywhere near a couple of goalkeepers like that. I don't hate it, but then you are dropping a City outfielder, and I do think there's enough good City outfield players not to have to spend 5.5 million on Ederson. Will we get leaks of Saka starting? We have had Arsenal leaks in the past. I will never say definitely, but we've had them in the past. Thoughts on Kepa and Martinez on wildcard? Yes, I don't mind that at all. They're two of the better goalkeepers at the moment. Can I try and convince you to captain Marmoush? He's a very nice differential, probably playing the worst defence in the league. So I do not mind the Marmoush captain if that's what you want. There's a lot of questions about Cole Palmer flying in. If I had the assistant manager, if I didn't have assistant manager, I would consider Saka to Palmer for 3 weeks and then going to Saka. But because I need that bit of value, yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. Saka is not flagged anymore, no. I don't think Trippier is really worth the money. With a positive update on Anthony Gordon, Gordon will take set pieces off him when he comes back, so yeah. Kluivert is a doubt with fatigue, it sounds like, basically. Only one of Mateta or Foden, best replacement for both. I'd probably drop Mateta's more essential for the short term with their double next week. Unless you can go not going Mateta and you go double Palace midfield, then I don't mind that. But yeah, probably drop that. Raya to Kepa and Areola to afford Foden. Yeah, I don't mind it. I think Raya's a fine pick, but I just don't think it's that groundbreaking. With only one like double left, it's fine. What is the wild card if you don't have the free hit left? So you need triple Newcastle, you'd have triple Palace, and then you'd probably cherry pick the doublers that you want. Like you'd probably go Marmouche, you'd probably go Gabriel, but you probably wouldn't go like Raya. Well, you'd go Raya and another goalkeeper that plays in 34. You probably wouldn't go. Well, I mean, like with this draft, if you had a goalkeeper that played and you had another defender for Mikalenko who played and you've got triple Newcastle, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd only need 6 more. You get 3 transfers between them. So you probably have to drop 3 of the doublers in the starting 11. No, you've got Salah as well. So you only have to drop maybe 2 of the doublers in the starting 11 that isn't the goalkeeper. So like maybe you go Palmer over Saka or Foden, for example, and try and hedge that. I may well go Glasner. But I would probably have to make my choice of which Palace player to sell this week. I do apologise. Can you play Shah? I don't think Shah's worth the money at all. I don't particularly think Trippier's worth the money either. I thought about him initially and then he came out of my drafts pretty quick. Disasi's not nailed. I don't think I wouldn't go with him. I know he's slightly cheaper, but I would just go Konza. Raya to Kepa, Areola or Martinez and no second goalkeeper. Well, if you've got the bench boost, if your bench boost is 33, you have to go with the Areola route. If your bench boost is later, then maybe you go Martinez and no goalkeeper. Any limit on how many double game week players you can have? I mean, you can only have 3 with each team. So you can only have 12 with the 4 teams predicted to double in 33. Savinho or Kluivert on wildcard, definitely. Savinho with Kluivert being a doubt. Eze or Sarr. Yeah, Eze or Sarr is an interesting one. So I prefer Eze, but I don't think the value is worth the difference. That's where I'm at. I don't think the value difference between the two is particularly worth it. So I think in most cases it makes sense to just go Sarr because I think the value's not worth it. Why Murphy over Gordon? Because I need the money because I want Foden. If you don't want Foden, like you can do Foden to Savinho and Murphy to Gordon. That's absolutely fine. I'm just taking a gamble that Foden is going to play a lot of minutes and a very central role and be good. Just think Foden's goal threat is much better than Savinho's. Savinho's got 11 returns this season, but 10 of them have been assists. I don't mind the Marmouche captaincy this week. I wouldn't bother with Trippier. I don't think. The yellow cards for Burn, yeah. So if you're going to bench boost in 33 and you might keep Burn, it's probably more of an issue. For me, so he's got 8 yellows. For it to be an issue in 32, he has to get booked in 2 of the next 3 games. Which doesn't tend to happen. Like, he'll be aware that they don't really have cover. And like, I just don't particularly see him getting booked against Leicester. Like, they'll probably be pretty cautious with that. I am not that concerned. It may come back to bite me, but I'd rather go Burn and hope for a 15-pointer than I think I would go Livramento. I might end up with Livramento. I might end up with Livramento. If if Burn picks up the cards, I will absolutely kick myself. I might end up going O'Brien over Mykolenko. I've just got Mykolenko in there at the moment because I can't sell him because I've got 0.1 value tied up in him. So if I sell Mykolenko, I will I'll probably go O'Brien. I might go Konza. In that spot. If you can't go Foden, just go Savinho. Emery at home to Forest or Glasner at home to Brighton. It depends. It depends who's got table bonus. If Glasner has table bonus against Brighton, it's unlikely that he does, looking at the fixtures this week. Then I will go Glasner for 3 straight game weeks. If it's Emery, then I might go Emery for 3 weeks. I might go Emery to Glasner. There's a few things. I think Munoz is the one I'm most likely to sell. I think he's the one I'm more likely to sell. Gordon suspended this week, yeah. Dean over Konza. I would consider Luca Dean if they weren't still in the Champions League. But I also need the money. So I don't think I'll go Mykolenko. I'd be very surprised if I do. I think I'm going to go O'Brien or Konza. And I think that's probably the only change I'm going to make. Is which of the two I go there. If I go Konza, he doesn't actually play for me in the blank unless I sell Munoz, in which case he would. So I could end up doing Munoz to O'Brien. It might be that I go both of them next week, right? If I decide to go Glasner, Munoz would be the one that would go. So I'd go Munoz to Konza next week or the week after and then go Glasner. I would say Munoz is the one I'm most likely to sell. I would say I'm more likely to go than Sarr. Just because the fixtures are better for, these fixtures don't scream clean sheets particularly. Maybe they do against Brighton and Bournemouth, but I feel like Sarr is a better pick than Visser. Who's the fifth defender? Gabriel, Gvardiol, Newcastle, Man United. I wouldn't go for a Man United one, but probably Palace or a Villa one, depending on what helps your squad more. Alajimi, thank you very much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. May I ask why Mykolenko isn't Konza better? Absolutely. The thing for me is because I've got my assistant manager, I won't bench boost until game week 35. And in 35, they play Ipswich at home. And game week 37, which might be a blank week, they have Southampton at home. So I probably will only use my fifth defender in 2 weeks. The week that I bench boost, which is likely 35, or in 37 as well. It's probably the only 2 weeks. So that is why that's why I've gone on Everton, because I don't need them basically for any other week apart from 35, maybe 36 and 37. That's why we've gone Mykolenko. Forest versus Brentford in 33. No, it's likely to remain in game week 34, just play in the midweek rather than at the weekend. Mykolenko's not confirmed to be back, but he said that the injury wasn't as bad. He's done little bits of training this week. I don't need him for a month, so I would expect that he's back. But I'm almost certain I won't go Mykolenko. It will be Konza or it will be O'Brien if I stay at Everton. City fans on 4. I mean, don't think those City fans. I'm willing to take the risk. I don't really see who plays over it. I really don't see who plays for City over Foden in this without Haaland. And I don't think the answer is De Bruyne either. I just don't see who it is. If Foden's out of budget, yeah, I'd go Savinho. You could punt on Doku, but I don't think I'd ever want to own Doku in my team. He frustrates me watching him. How am I going to afford Emery next week? I've got I got $1 million in the bank with this team. Am I avoiding Bournemouth entirely? I am, because I don't want Clivert now. He's a doubt. Kirkes is fine, but he doesn't get in my team most weeks. So, yeah. Saliba, Foden, Mateta versus Gabriel, Eze, Watkins. Definitely the Foden route. Definitely the Foden route. Finlay, of course. Could you do a benching ranking, please? Also, could you rank Newcastle defenders? Yeah, Livramento and Burn. I would just go with one of them. I'm not sure I'd spend the money on... I'm not sure I'd spend the money on... Trippier. That's the one. Kirkes doesn't get in my team most weeks, no. Away at West Ham next week. Maybe. Then it's a 32 double. Then it's a 33 double. Do we not think we're overestimating the Arsenal defence? I mean, I personally don't. Like, Raya's a pretty nice set and forget with a double. If I could... he's also the other thing with Raya is he's the cheapest way into the Arsenal defence. If I could go, like, Saliba and another goalkeeper, like, I would consider that, but I can't afford it. Saliba's too expensive. I actually think I can. No, you see, like, I can't afford it. Like, it doesn't leave me enough money. Like, it's just the cheapest way to get into most defense anywhere near the Arsenal defense. That's why a lot of people will go with Raya. Timber. My issue with Timber is Ben White's back and they're in the Champions League quarterfinals against Real Madrid. I can't guarantee that Timber plays both games in a double or plays the Brentford game in between the two Real Madrid games. He probably will, but I can't say with enough confidence. Timber's been really good. I'm not doubting that he's first choice, but yeah. Glasner is a risk of 0 points with those fixtures. Surely how better even without table bonus? It's kind of the same as earlier, right? Who was it? Was Arnie Slot the right assistant manager earlier on in the season, or was the table bonus teams were they the better options? So yeah. That's why I quite like Unai Emery, because they have 2 of their table bonus games would be at home against Newcastle and Forest. That's why I actually might just do that. If we're in a position where you told me Villa had table bonus home to Forest, then Southampton away, then table bonus against either Newcastle or Man City, I think I'd probably do that. Wood to Mateta or Marmoush. I think Marmoush is a better 1 week punt than Mateta. Why is Haaland red on FPL? He's picked up an injury and is out between 5 to 7 weeks. You're this close from switching your membership from Focal to Harry. Oh, that's nice, but that Oscar won't like that. Pedro, I don't know what to say. Thanks. Pedro Neto or Clivert. to start this week. We could both offer good memberships, I'm sure. What's going on here? Pedro Neto or Kluivert to start this week. I'd start Kluivert and just hope he plays. Sells, Aït-Nouri, Gabriel, Howson, and Burmo, Palmer, Salah, Kluivert, Elanga would should I wildcard this week? Larson, Isak. Yes, I would probably. If you've got assistant manager, it kind of pushes the wildcard agenda even more because 31 to 33... Sorry, Marmoush is a better one-week punt than Mateta. It kind of pushes the wildcard agenda a little bit more because you get the option to assistant manager 31 to 33, which you don't get if you wildcard next week. So, yeah, it's one I like for sure. That's the benefit. I mean, for me, I had Kluivert, I had Ahmad, I had Haaland, I had Chris Wood. I also was starting Williams and... Pickford as well. Like, my team was a mess. It just made complete sense with the assistant manager. Someone just saying the jump the wave predictions. I completely disagree with that. 13%. Too. Interesting. I'd be very surprised. I wonder if they did that before they heard that he played a behind closed doors friendly. If Arteta has gone to all this trouble and the Arsenal media has posted about 10 clips of Bukayo Saka or photos of Saka over the past week, and then he doesn't start, I will have real questions that need to be asked. I think he starts, but... Verbruggen with 1.3 million left and reinvest the 0.5, or Martinez with 0.8. I'd go Martinez. Best 4.4, I'd probably go Konza, depending on your chip strategy. You can't afford Foden. I just go Savinho and reinvest the money. Is Bowen a good option for Foden being too expensive? Again, I probably would just go for another City mid. Punt on one of the wingers, probably. If you've used one free transfer and taken hits and then you do activate the wildcard, they will be wiped out, yes. Got me to 3 point... Love the content. Got me to 3.5k rank. You're beating me. Same team and Emery 31 to 33. But you're thinking about changing Raya, Areola, Mikalenko to Flecker, Martinez and Milenkovic for a better bench boost 36. The issue with bench boost 36 is Arsenal play Liverpool. Martinez is interesting. I just don't love the Forest defense. The Villa defense is the only thing. I don't mind those changes actually. Have to not go Raya, which is okay. Don't mind that. Raya, Areola to Fleck and Martinez. Milenkovic. What are the fixtures in 36? But I just hate the fixtures that week. Like, you're going to be bench boosting. Palace away at Spurs is okay. Villa will be away at Bournemouth. Like, loads of us are going to have Villa away at Bournemouth. Liverpool play Arsenal. Chelsea play... Like, Newcastle have Chelsea at home that week. I just don't think it's a fantastic week to... Like, if you got to that week and you had a Forest defender and you had Gabriel on your bench, you're probably just leaving Gabriel on your bench. Like, you're probably not bench boosting Gabriel away at Liverpool. And, like, I've got Newcastle at home to Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, it could work. I don't know what the transfers are I'd use when I get there, but I suppose if Villa doubled, you'd need Villa to reach the cup final, probably. And City to reach the cup final, and then they would double again. It's possible. It's possible. Areola helps with it a little bit. Is Clivert injured? He's a doubt. Yeah, he's a doubt. If you can't afford Foden, I'd go Savinho, yeah. You're on the same chip strategy as you, but bench boost 36. Would I prefer Martinez, Saliba, or Raya, Konza, Van Dijk? Martinez, Saliba. You get your free transfers back, yeah. Is Palmer playing? Yes, I fully expect Palmer to play, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I expect that Palmer will play. He's been in training since about Friday last week. It's like 6 days of training. He's also been in Dubai with a physio as well. I'd be very surprised. I think Jackson, Madueke, Palmer will all start this week. If money wasn't an issue, I wouldn't go Areola. No, I'd probably go with... probably the Bournemouth goalkeeper. I probably would go Kepa. Would be my goalkeeper of choice. Why no Palmer? I don't have the money to do it, basically. And I think Saka starts, so... And I might be wrong. And he might only get 60. But I'm going Saka, I think. FPL victorious. Foden, Murphy, Soufal, or Savinho, Gordon, Williams. Foden, Murphy, but I wouldn't go Soufal. He's not nailed. Why no Clivert? So Clivert is a doubt. Clivert is a doubt. Isn't starting both Saka and Foden a risk? Yeah, I suppose it probably is. Probably more risk than I'm used to taking, but I predict both of them to start. Like, who starts for City if Foden doesn't start? Like, is it going to be De Bruyne in the 10? Because if Marmoush is going to go up front, like... What? Bernardo, like a front three of Bernardo Silva, Doku, Marmoush, Savinho. I just don't love that. De Bruyne. I mean, De Bruyne started like one game this season. I might be wrong. I don't know what the City predictors have done if they've put him in the predicted lineup. Let me have a look. Aston Villa, Brighton, Chelsea, Liverpool, City. I mean, they've all predicted Foden to start, so... If I'm taking a punt on Foden at home to Leicester, I don't mind it. If you can't afford Foden, I think Savinho... Yeah. Savio, Savinho would be where I'd go if I couldn't afford Foden. He's the one I've had all week until I... until I freed up some money to go Foden. Yeah, I mean, it might not be Foden. Like, he's not nailed, right? And nor is Savinho. No City player is nailed. But when you have an injury to someone like a Haaland and Marmoush is not playing in the 10 anymore, it just moves players around a little bit more. The last time Haaland didn't play, Foden and Marmoush started together. It was against Liverpool. They didn't play particularly well. I don't trust Foden starting enough to captain him, no. Assistant manager next week, you can't play 2 chips at once. Bench boost 36 is possible. I would go probably... I could go Williams. And then... But what goalkeeper would I go? I need one of those cheap... I need a cheap goalkeeper to have a good fixture. I don't think I can get... I could go Jose Sarr. I would love Kepa, but I don't think I can get there. I think I'm 0.1 short. I think I'm more. Oh, he's 4'6". Yeah, I'm way short. It's the issue. Like, I would go Williams in here at 4'4". Luckily, and I'd only have 4'3" for a goalkeeper. Now, I could use a transfer once we got there. Maybe Areola's fine, because Areola could double. I mean, if Forest reached the cup final, then Areola would double. Flecken. I don't think I can get to Flecken either. Away at Ipswich is not bad though, but they're unlikely to double. I can't. I think I've got 4'3". That leaves me 0.1 million short. It leaves me 0.1 million short. Yeah, well, my wild card is active, yeah. I need 0.8 for the assistant manager. Which 4.1 million defender if it's not Soufal? You probably just have to go like Agbadou at Wolves. I mean, it could be Areola. Hang on. Let me just very quickly plan this. In case Areola could double, right? Right. Let me have a look at my team here. Here. Very quickly. So if I don't go O'Brien and I go Williams. But then if Forest don't double, does this have Isak to Watkins in? Yeah. Like I'd have to deal with double Newcastle at home to Chelsea. I've got Gabriel away at Liverpool. Sorry, yeah, and I've got Raya away at Liverpool. I've got triple Palace away at Spurs. I mean, it's interesting, a bench boost 36. But the issue is you'd rely on like, I mean, if Williams didn't double, it's fine. But if Areola didn't double, it wouldn't work. I'd have to use it. Like, I would have lots of transfers. Like, it could work. But I'd have to sell, like, Areola if he didn't double. Like, I don't know what I'd do with Raya. I'd be making 2 goalkeeper transfers. Or I'd be making at least 1. Yes, I might end up selling a Palace defender. But also, it's the weekend before a cup final. And if you tell me that West Ham double, like if like Villa double, who do they have? Who does 34? Maybe I just go Konza. I mean, it might be that I go Konza and then I can wait and review that slightly later down the line. Where were we? Yeah, it might just be that I go Konza instead of Mikalenko here. Just leave him on the bench. I wouldn't even play him in the double in 36 and 33 unless I sold Munoz. How long have we got? The deadline's at a really weird time. We've still got an hour and a half to go to the deadline. If you haven't dropped a like on the stream, please could you do so now? And subscribe if you are new. Williams is suspended for the next round, yes, but it's the final that would be the issue if they doubled, because you'd have the double just before. Like, it'd be Leicester at home, West Ham away, just before an FA Cup final. I don't think we'd know at all. Like, and they might have secured top 4 by then. I suppose even if you only played Leicester at home, it would be fine, right? But Bowen, I don't really see a world to go. A world where I'd go Bowen personally. Now, he's not bad for 33 with Southampton at home, but generally the fixtures for West Ham are not great. Can Kluivert start? He can. I'd be surprised if he does, though. What do I think about Bruno instead of Foden and Burn to Livramento? Again, the United fixtures, Forest, City, Newcastle with no double. And then what? Brentford and Bournemouth after that. It's just not a great run for them. It's not a great run for them. Assistant manager Glasner. Yeah, I may well sell Munoz next week. Is Timber a big risk? He's first choice, but I would say he's less nailed than Saliba and Gabriel. Is Saka fit? I mean, I'm predicting that he starts. So it's just what I do with Areola and Mikalenko. And if I look to wildcard, to bench boost 36 instead. My backup, if one of them doesn't play, is Jacob Murphy, which I don't mind at all. Kluivert apparently has fatigue, so is, I would say, unlikely to start. Burn instead of Livramento. I just think I'm more likely to get a 15-pointer with Burn than I am with... And I know there's cut bias recency with the Carabao Cup, but I know he's on 8 yellows as well, but... Isn't a punt on Foden's form more risky than a punt on Bruno for those fixtures? I mean, maybe, but I think you're punting on Man United's form as well. I would definitely go Foden over Bruno. Like, I personally wouldn't go anywhere near Bruno on a wild card with no double now, personally. But Wolves, I wouldn't be massively looking at any of them if you're on a wild card this week. If you're not on a wild card, I still probably wouldn't. Yeah. I don't have much of an appeal for them. Foden and Timber or Gabriel and Savinho. I just prefer Foden over Savinho much more. So I'd probably chance Timber. Wasn't planning to wildcard, but Haaland and possibly Kluivert out is frying you. Yeah, it was enough things that pushed me over the edge. I wasn't planning it as well, but yeah. Like in 35, I mean, if I go Konza and they don't double, I could just bench boost Konza at home to Fulham in 35. Maybe Konza's the play, but like it's definitely better to go Everton. Take a look at 38 bench boost. It's a nightmare because you just don't know. You're just not going to get a full 11 players out, I don't think. Fixtures are not bad. Fixtures are okay. But it's just knowing who starts. Like you could easily, if you go Areola and it's Fabianski in goal and the whole thing's ruined. So yeah. I'm going to assistant manager 31, yes. Which 4.1 defender? I'd probably go Agbadou. depending on when you're going to bench boost. If not, just go for like Wout Fast. Has a good fixture in 35. Yeah, I wouldn't go Soufali. He's not nailed. You could punt on like Cresswell, but again, these guys are not nailed. How would a wildcard triple captain free hit bench boost team look? So if you are on the position where you are looking to bench boost, it depends which week you want to bench boost. If you want to bench boost 33, I'd be looking at something that looks like this. If you've got good team value and you want to stretch Savinho up to Foden and downgrade Martinez to Areola, that also works. Yeah, this has got 2.5 million in the bank for my team value, but if you've got less, then you keep Savinho. If you've got more, then you can try and do Savinho up to Foden. This is if you're going to bench boost. Bench boost 36. I mean, I could if I just go Konza. Maybe I just start with Konza and I can review that later down the line. There are potential doubles in 36. It's like we seem to. There was a weird article from West Ham the other day, which basically said that they planned on moving their fixture with Forest in 37 to 36 if they got to the FA Cup final, which seems really bizarre to me. Which seems a bit bizarre, but maybe I just start with... I mean, I'm not going to go Mikalenko. I know that much. It's just whether I go with the money I've got in the bank. Areola's going to stay as well because none of the other goalkeepers I can get anywhere near work with the money that I've got. I mean, the other thing doesn't really work. I mean, the other thing I could do is just go like Greaves in here for now and use a transfer once I decide. And then I have 4.8 to spend on a goalkeeper. In which case, Kepa works. For a bench boost 36. Like, that could work, and then I just have to sell Greaves. Who's more important, Foden or Gavardio? I'd rather probably Gavardio. So that's a possibility. If I move the bench boost to 36. What are the other fixtures in 36? If worst came to the worst and I needed a newly promoted defender, I'm not buying a Southampton one. Ipswich have Brentford at home. Leicester away at Forest. Like, I could go... If I went Kepa, who was it in the chat asking for a 4.1 million defender? It would probably be like Agbadu, right? And then I just potentially sell him. But then I've still got Raya. I did look at this and just not go with Raya. With 0.8 in the bank. What's that? 4.6 for a defender. Again, if we're looking that week. Williams. I mean, but then if it's a City Villa final, I would be left without a goalkeeper. But then it would be good for bench boost. Vandenberg. This is possible. Where'd it go? Williams, Kepa. Let me just plan that a sec. Sorry, let's do some questions. Kirkes or Konate? I probably would go Konate. Flecken, decent 35, 36. Yeah, but unlikely to double. But is the only thing. Who do they both have in 38? Bournemouth have Leicester at home, so that would be good. And Villa have a difficult game on the final day, I think. Man United away. It just feels weird to go without triple Arsenal for their potential double. Like, I don't really want to take out Raya, if I'm honest. I don't feel like I like that. Now, yeah, this doesn't leave enough money for the assistant manager. Why Gavardo more important than Foden in your view? I just think there's more risk around Foden. Depends who you did Gavardio to, I suppose. It depends what the combination is. Like, if you're going to go with Savinho or Gavardio or Foden and like Kushinov, I think I'd still go Savinho in that. But am I not worried about Foden's minutes? I seem to be less worried about Foden's minutes than everyone thinks I should be, which is making me feel a little bit uneasy. Which is making me feel a little bit uneasy. Too much tinkering. That's what happens when you're on wildcard, and especially when you've only got what was it, 48 hours or less to build a wildcard for the rest of the season with doubles and blanks. Would I do Mekalenkovic if I had the funds? I mean, it's the same as Williams, but maybe it would slightly more convince me. Am I not worried about Saka, Foden minutes? I'm less worried than people seem to think that I should be, yeah, for both of them. I think both of them start, and I may well end up being wrong. We will hopefully get some Arsenal team news before the deadline. If Saka's benched, I will probably just bench him. If Saka's benched, I'll probably just bench him. And I'll play Murphy. I think fifth defender is Vandenberg for 4.1. It's just not definitely nailed. I don't think he came back in. Yeah, he came off the bench. I don't think we can guarantee that he's going to start. So this is where we are still at. I need to decide. I would like to go Raya Kepa. I think would be, but I just don't have the money for it. I think I'm 0.2 short. I'm 0.2 short of being able to play. Now, if I did Munoz to Konza, then it would work. If I was going to assistant manager Glasner, then it would work. But like, I could do that. Why Kepa? Decent chance of a double in 36 because they play City in the FA Cup final. In the FA Cup semi. City are in the FA Cup semis against Forest. Salah will be my captain. So that's why I'm considering Kepa, because it might help for the bench boost. If I bench boost 36, Kepa's probably the best. Unless Forest beat City. Gvardiol and Savinho or Diaz and Foden. Like in that situation, I probably would go Gvardiol, Savinho. But maybe Foden is that good that you just go with him and don't go Gvardiol. Like I'd really try and find money. Like I'd drop Raya before I drop Gvardiol or Foden. Foden isn't worth it. Go Savinho. Kepa awful for bench boost. Yeah, it would be if I moved the bench boost to 36. It might be that I just decide, like, when we get to game week 35 about which week looks potentially better. I will have transfers when we get there. So, it won't be Mikalenko. It will be O'Brien or it will be Konza. Same team. You don't have Foden. Where to upgrade with 3.1? I probably would do Areola to someone like Martinez, and I would then probably go and upgrade Mikalenko as well. Henderson and Saliba or Raya and Munoz. Henderson and Saliba or Raya and Munoz. If you're not going to sell one of them, then Raya and Munoz. But if you go Henderson and Saliba, selling Henderson isn't. I mean, I could do Henderson to... No, I don't want Henderson. I don't think. It also doesn't leave me the money I need anyway. Every question on wildcard is making me rethink my wildcard. What's the best wildcard team for 3 hit 34? When to bench boost? If you're not going to assistant manager... you're looking at a wildcard that looks something like this. Roughly, the players like Wan-Bissaka, Martinez, Savinho, you can have a look, but the rest of it feels pretty set. I mean, it's very template. This is what the template is. It's going to look something like this. Foden and Mateta or Palmer and João Pedro Evan-Nilsson. Foden and Mateta, absolutely. Absolutely. Why not Foden to Savinho, Areola to Kepa Sales, Mikalenko to Williams? Because I just really think I'm taking a chance that I just think Foden's really worth it. That's my gamble that I'm taking on wildcard, that I think Foden is worth the money and he's going to be playing good minutes. If you don't agree on Foden that he's going to play enough minutes, that's really fine. Yeah. I wouldn't worry if you don't like Foden, you can't afford him, that's like no problem. Like, I don't think Foden's a an incredible pick that you have to go with. I just think if he gets the minutes, he's worth the doubt, but he's worth the punt. But if you don't like it, then that's absolutely fine. Like, go without him. Go without him. Who am I benching? I'm probably benching Foden in 32. I might bench Saka in 32 as it comes straight between the Champions League. I will bench, my backup goalkeeper will have not a great fixture in 32. I don't have that much of a benching headache in 32. Is Cliver injured? He's definitely a doubt with fatigue, yeah. Ways to take Munoz out for Glasner next week. The issue is which defender I'd go with this week. I don't think Newcastle keep a clean sheet. I think Munoz has the ability to score 4 more points than any other defender I'd play this week. And I think Sarr is similar in midfield. So I'd rather it force a transfer. The only annoying thing is it's the bit of money that it would unlock. Because if I didn't go Munoz and I went with what I want in... if I went... Yeah, like this. I could go Munoz, I could go Williams, I could go Konza... And it sets up pretty well. If I didn't go with him, that's the only thing. Nick, thank you for joining as a mid-tier member. Drop me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you added to everything else that you need to be. Milenkovic or Konza? Probably, again, it depends on what your chip strategy is. Probably Konza, but probably Konza. Foden, Marmoush, can't have both. Either 7 mil. I would say Marmoush is much more important than Foden. Marmoush up front, likely to be on pens, likely to have more reliable minutes. Marmoush is a better pick than, and he's cheaper. Wildcard draft the same as yours, but not enough value to fit in Saka. I'd rather drop Foden to Savinho and then go Saka. If you don't want to go Saka, like I'd probably go Gordon and then do Burn to then do Murphy to Rodgers or something. You could do that, or you just go like Rashford in that spot. My second choice City midfielder, I would go Savinho over I go Doku, but I'm not a big Doku fan. Worried about not having Eze. So Eze versus Sarr is pretty close. I do worry a little bit about Eze's fitness when they've got to play quite so many games. That's the only thing. If I had the money, I would go Eze, but I don't think the money is worth it for the difference between the two of them. If you're having a problem with the app, always try the desktop. Semenyo is on 9 yellows, so he would not be one I'd own. Yeah. Do I assistant manager 30-32 if you can? 31 to 33 is better, but if you want to play a chip in 33 that's something else, then 30 to 32 can work, but next week is better. What's so wrong with Mikalenko? He allows me exact money for Foden. Otherwise, it's Savinho, O'Brien. Oh, if Mikalenko is like, if you're 0.1 short, then just go Mikalenko. It's fine. If I could have any sub keeper, I would go. I'd go Kepa, I think. Or Martinez. If I had all the money in the world, I'd go Martinez. Yeah, Marcus, I had a look. I'd go Foden, Marmoush. I'd drop Foden. Marmoush is more important than Foden. Get Murphy and Trippier in for Elanga and Keane. I'm not really sure Trippier is worth the money, and I think the money will be more useful that you spend on Trippier over a Burn or something further down the line. E7, of course. Let me have a look. Do I not have 0.1 million to go Livramento? Have you changed to go? No. So I haven't sold Mikalenko because I have 0.1 value tied up in him. But I think I won't go Mikalenko. I'll either go Konza or I'll go O'Brien. I think I'm more likely to go Konza, if I'm honest. Because I think Munoz will leave anyway, so I think I'll end up with both in my team regardless. And if Mikalenko's back, at least I get the injury news further down the line. And a prediction on doubles and stuff like that. I think Konza's more likely to be more useful because they are favourites to go to the cup final over Palace, although I think that'll be a really tight match. Why is everyone not captaining Marmoush? Just still a little bit of uncertainty on City. He should play up front. He should be on pens as well, but we don't fully know these things. So yeah, I don't mind the Marmoush. He's number 2 in my captaincy ranking, I think. And if you want a differential that's not Salah, or you're concerned about their form, or you're concerned about Salah's form, he would definitely be the one that I would go to if I wasn't captaining Salah this week. Ooh, semi-automated offsides in the Premier League from the weekend. Oh no, next weekend. Interesting. Why not Diaz instead of Savinho? As in Luis Diaz. Just the City fixture this week and then the City double. What upgrades would I make if I downgrade Foden to Savinho? You've got 3.2 in the bank with the exact same team. You could try and punt Gordon if you think he's going to be back. I'd upgrade Areola. I'd upgrade Mikalenko. I might even do Sarr to Eze as well. Yeah. When you use the assistant managers, does that cost money? Yes. So managers have different value. Most of the managers you'll be looking at are 0.8, unless you want to play Eddie Howe, who is slightly more expensive, but I don't plan on doing that. Who would I upgrade? So if I had all the money in the world, I'd go Kepa or Martinez and I don't know, someone else over Mikalenko. But I just don't have the money. I really would like Kepa in that spot. Why wildcard this round? So it was a combination of cup results. It was a combination of injuries all over my team. It was a combination of wildcarding this week, allowing me to assistant manager 31 to 33. I haven't gone Eze because I don't have the money for it. If you've already used assistant manager, it's a pretty similar draft, but it looks like this. Again, if you can afford Savinho, you could go. If you can afford Foden for Savinho, go for it. But so that's what this would look like. If you want to try and stretch to Foden, let's say you've got team value, Foden can come in. Martinez can go to Areola. It leaves me only 0.3 million in the bank. So you might not be able to afford it. If you're a wildcard to bench boost, I'd go with something like this. What, go Arteta instead of going... What, I go... But Arteta against Everton... Oh, no, I wouldn't. I'd have to use transfers, I think, on that. I could do Arteta, but... I think I want Raya. Like, Raya is useful in the long term, I think. Why is Kluivert flag? He has fatigue. Timber and Palmer or Gabriel and Foden? I mean, for me, Gabriel and Foden feels clearer of Timber and Palmer. Not necessarily for this week, but long term, I'd rather Gabriel and Foden. I mean, Wan-Bissaka is useful just because potential double later down the line. If you're bench boosting game week 33, he's got Southampton at home that week. I've still got wild cards this week, free hit, bench boost, and assistant manager. I think I'll have a chip active for 6 of the next 7 game weeks. Matt, let me take a look. Would love your thoughts on bench boost 32 versus 33. Where 33 gets extra fixtures, 32 saves free transfers, which could be used to navigate. I think it's really, really close. I don't think there's that much between it. The only slight benefit to going 33 is, for example, you'll have more likely to have like a Konza. You're more likely to go Areola and Wan-Bissaka, which in case might give you doublers in 36 if it happens. So you might be better placed, but you've also likely to have used up more transfers. I think there's very little in it. I have got a draft which is which does that. Bench boost 32, which looks something like this. It stretches the team value a little bit more. Like you could go Raya to Martinez in there as well. It goes for Bruggen because they've got Leicester at home that week. So the bench boost there, if you want a bench boost in 32, also looks nice. I'll probably bench boost 35 or 36. Yes. Hang on, does that mean between game week, have we got another weekend break? Oh no, it's because it clashes. We're all good. I was like, have we got a break? No. Best Clivert replacement. Savinho, if you need someone similar value, or a Palace midfielder. Play Saka or Murphy. I'm going Saka. It is less than an hour to go to the deadline. This stream is flying past. We're going to put it in subscriber only mode. You literally have to subscribe for 1 second to start using the chat. So if you could drop a subscribe if you haven't already. Please also drop a like on the stream. That would be great. If you're really short on money, just Savinho win for Foden would probably, or Docker if you want to take a gamble, but I'd probably go Savinho. What do I think about Kushinov? I just don't think it's nearly exciting enough. I don't see enough clean sheets with a lack of attacking threat. No. Am I not worried about Foden, Saka minutes? I personally am not. I think maybe I think they start, personally. And I know lots of people in the chat disagree. Let me put a poll. Let me do a wildcard poll. I mean, Adam, if you want to punt Doku, you can punt Doku all you like. Are you on wildcards? Yes. No, wildcard 31. Let's have a look. Will Palmer start? Yes, I think so. Saka won't start. I think he will. If he doesn't, I'll be wrong. And I'll get Murphy off the bench, or I'll get Saka's appearance. Or if we hear before the deadline, I'll just start Murphy. My thoughts on Dango. I think Dango will start if you've still got him and you're not wildcarding this week. I think there's enough injuries that probably means Dango starts. Yeah, if I went Savio, I think I could do all the upgrades that I want, but I think Foden's worth it with the team value that I've got. Is it a bad idea to have both Verbruggen and Dunk? If you're going to bench boost 33, they're perfect. Bench boost 32, they're perfect for it because they've got Leicester at home that week. I'm not particularly worried about the Salah captain. No, it's also the safer route. Would I play Kepa over Raya this week if I had both? Yes, I probably would. You've used 2 free transfers already. You have Palmer and Kluivert in your 11. Would Mikalenko, Greaves on the bench? Do I wildcard or hold? I mean, Palmer should play. I'd be inclined to play it and save the transfers if I'm honest, but it's less clear if you've already played the assistant manager. Do a poll, will Saka start? We'll do one in a minute. Rodgers, if I can't afford Sarr with an identical team. Yes, because also Rodgers would leave a space open for Glasner as well. Am I not worried about Burns' suspension? He'd have to get booked twice in 3 games. I mean, it's possible. There's a slight worry there. Hope I don't regret the Foden punt. How would I trim 0.4? I'd probably go Martinez over Raya. What upgrades would I do if I had Savinho? I'd probably upgrade Areola to Martinez. I'd upgrade Mikalenko. I'd consider Eze over Sarr and maybe Gordon over Murphy as well. If your wildcard to bench boost 32 versus bench boost 33 is really close, you either go Areola, Wan-Bissaka, or you go Verbruggen, Dunk, depending on which week you want to play your bench boost, basically. Bench boost 32 saves transfers, but bench boost 33 might set you up better for the future. So 32 might be slightly better. I don't know. If you did 3 free transfers and you wildcard, will I get your transfers back? Yes. Gvardiol over Foden, I would probably just about say so. Although I have high hopes for Foden. Zubin, let me have a look. Savinho or Rashford, you can't afford Foden. I'd go Savinho first because of the fixture. What I think of Ruben Diaz instead of Gvardiol for the money saving. I don't particularly like Ruben Diaz. I think if you're buying a City defender, you buy Gvardiol for the attacking threat. If you can't afford Gvardiol, I'm not even sure I'd bother. Like, yeah. If I couldn't afford Gvardiol, I would go Saliba and go for a cheap goalkeeper. I'd do Gvardiol to Saliba and I'd do Raya to Kepa or something like that. I wouldn't bother with the City defence if it wasn't Gvardiol. Future transfer plans after wildcard and assistant manager. I'm hoping that I would roll until we do Isak to Watkins in 33 for the double, if it gets announced. And then, yeah, then maybe looking to make sure I set up the bench boost and set up the doublers in 36 if they happen. It's like 36. I mean, if Palace get to the final and they double, then that's great. But if they don't, whoever it was that left the comment, what about bench boost 36 and going with these players instead? You've really confused me. So Forest at home to Leicester, I could do that. But if I end up having to bench boost 35, it's not great. I mean, the thing is, the good thing about Forest, if I commit to a bench boost 36, is they're good regardless. But then Everton's useful in the blank. Do I think Kluivert starts? No. Start Raya or Kepa? I'd start Kepa. 5.4 million mid. Flecken. Flecken could work. Just bench boost Flecken away at Ipswich. Can I afford Flecken Williams? I'm going to refresh this because I don't know who's where. No, I'm 0.1 short again. I might go Glasner or Emery. If I go Glasner, I'll sell one of the... If I use Emery, I won't benefit from table bonus in 33. I might do. You might well do. But if you go Glasner, you won't benefit at home to Bournemouth. You might benefit away at Arsenal. But you might benefit with... against Newcastle, because Newcastle have an extra game to everyone else. Alex, best 5th 4.5 less defender on wildcard to prepare for 36-37 and have already bench boosted. I mean, Williams is probably up there because he'd either double or he'd have 2 good fixtures. This is so annoying. 0.1 million short. Why not Emmy and Kepa? Yeah. Just feels weird not having triple Arsenal for their double. Like when their double arrives of Ipswich, if they have Ipswich away, and like I'd rather use a transfer. I don't love the Villa double for clean sheets at all. Who does Areola have in 36? If I had to bench boost it, United away. It's not great. It's not great in 35 either, though. They could double if Forest were to reach the final. I mean, I could... Oh. Why not Howe assistant manager? Because you'd have to move it in 34, 33 regardless to probably to Unai Emery. And then if that's the case, I think Unai Emery, if he has table bonus at home to Forest, is just as good. Now, if there's no table bonus in 31, then I might sell like Murphy or Burn or something and do that. Like, that's not impossible. And then I just go Eddie Howe. But I just think it's more likely that I just go for Emery or for Glasner. I think that's probably where I'm more likely to end up. I could pick Gabriel, Savinho, Trippier on Timber, Foden and Dunk. Yeah, I just feel like I want to punt on Foden. I understand that people don't agree on it, but I just want to take a chance on it, I think. Have I booked a summer holiday? I'm getting married in the summer. So that is what my summer holiday is. I will have my wedding and I will have my honeymoon as well this summer. Martinez and Henderson. The issue with going Martinez and Henderson is if I want Glasner and then I sell Henderson and then Palace win in the cup. That's the only thing. I don't mind for people on bench boost. Martinez, Henderson works quite well. If you're bench boost 33, you could go Martinez, Henderson. I just don't like how many. Congratulations. Thank you. No worries. Thank you. No worries. Yeah. Thanks. I think it's more likely that I wait until we get to, and once we get to 35 or 36, then I can pivot depending on where I think the bench boost is best played. The question is which goalkeeper and defender makes me most flexible? I would probably say Williams. I've not got married yet. It's true. Downgrade Foden to Savinho or Raya to Kepa. Downgrade Foden, Savinho or Raya to Kepa. Raya to Kepa would be a much easier downgrade than I think selling Foden. What about Rico Lewis instead of Gavardio? It's just not nailed to play all the games. It's definitely fallen out of favour. Yeah, he should play tomorrow though. Is it essential to play the wildcard this week if you've got the assistant manager? No, you could assistant manager 35 or 36. I just think it's better this week, personally. Why am I picking two players in Saka and Foden whose playing time is not guaranteed? I just think they both start, basically. And I might get it wrong, and I might get both wrong. And if they both don't start, then... One sec. Sorry, I went to look for team news and then I forgot what I was talking about. Bournemouth have posted a few training photos. I wonder if Kluivert's in any of them. They've only posted 3. Let me have a look on their website. Let me have a look. No, not at the moment. They have just posted a few pictures, so I wonder if they'll post more. Do I need money in the bank? Yes, I need 0.8 probably for the assistant managers I want to play. Bench 1, Mbermo, Wissa or Kluivert. I'd probably bench Wissa. Saka or Sarr for Palmer. I probably prefer Sarr over Saka for the short term. What changes would I make wildcard plan if you would already use your free hit? You just got to have less doublers. Like I probably would go Foden over one of Saka or Foden. I'm not sure I'd go Gvardiol. I'd go someone with a fixture in 34. Like I'd go Gvardiol. I'd go for a Liverpool defender probably over one of those two. Make sure you've got a goalkeeper who plays that week as well. Yeah. Who's a good Saka replacement? I mean, if you don't want Saka, there aren't loads of other midfielders. You could go double Palace midfield and not go Munoz. Like you could go Munoz to Saliba and Saka to Eze. That's something that would work. What's my thoughts on Semenyo instead of Kluivert? You're aware he's on 9 yellows. If you're on wildcard, I wouldn't own any Bournemouth now, is my general opinion. I wouldn't own either. Start Kirkes or Gabriel. You're starting Raya. I'd probably go Gabriel over Kirkes with with the injuries to Bournemouth and with Saka back for set pieces for Gabriel. Start Verbruggen. Oh no, that was an old one. O'Brien or Williams. I haven't fully decided. I might go Williams and try and get to a bench boost. 36. Like if I had to bench boost Raya away at Liverpool, like it's not the end of the world. Wildcard this week, free at 34, went to bench boost, 32 or 33, depending on who you go with. If you want 32, you go with Brighton as your cheap players. If you want 33, you go as West Ham as your cheap players. How much money in the bank? And if I had to save 1.1, I mean, Raya to Kepa would save a bit of money. Or you just don't go Foden and you go Savinho. Maybe I just go bench boost 36. This is not the right team. And I go Williams. If I go Williams in here, I think I'd get to 30. This says I don't have the money, but I know I do. I'd get to 35 with 5 free transfers if nothing went wrong, which I'm sure it would. In which case I could do a few things. And if I do Munoz to Konza, that would give me one. Why not Trippier instead of Liverpool? I don't think Trippier is really worth the money, if I'm honest. I'm just not sure he's worth it. I think there's better investments elsewhere. 1.9 in the bank, same team, but Konza, Savinho, Palmer. I mean, I think Foden and Saka are both above Palmer for me, but Williams is quite useful. I really wish I could go Williams Flecken. At least me 0.1 short. Now, if Munoz is... If I sell him, then I'd have the money and it would all be well again at the end, but... I know I'm not going. Hang on. What happens if there are no doubles? I mean, it's fine. Like, he's got the good fixture. Raya. Palace away at Spurs. But if Spurs are still in Europe, Spurs will not be playing anyone. So I just got to hope Spurs get through in Europe, right? Mbermo, Clivert, and Gibbs-White start two of them. Mbermo definitely, and I'd probably start Clivert and I'd bench Gibbs-White. You can't afford Foden, any replacement besides Savinho. Doku, Bernardo Silva. If you don't want Man City, punt on someone like a Rashford or a Rodgers probably. Who? 37. West Ham have Forest. Just looking on any Arsenal news. Nope. If I could have any sub goalkeeper and third defender, who would it be? If I had all the money spare, I'd go... The defender's not that much, but I would probably go Kepa if I could go any goalkeeper. Rico Lewis, Raya, Foden, and 0.8 in the bank, or Kepa, Gavardio, Savinho. I'm trying to work out if you could do like Areola, Gavardio, or Foden, which would probably be my preference. If it has to be one of those, I can't recommend going Lewis, so it would have to be the other one. Downgrade Raya for Rodgers to Sarr, and if so, to who? Martinez of Villa. With their double would probably be the one if you only need a little bit of money. Keep Munoz or Sarr a second Palace assistant manager on Glasner. I think Sarr is a better pick, but I'm going to go Munoz and hope that he scores enough points this week that it pays off taking a hit potentially next week. Yeah, maybe Williams is just the play. If I had to bench boost in 35 and he had Palace away, it's maybe not the end of the world. And if they do get a double, it'll be really nice. Is it worth the chance? I'd have to just be backing Forest to beat City in the Cup though, but even if they don't double, what would you do if you were me? Timber's first choice, I would say, is not nailed though. I think there's a yeah, Timber's not nailed. I think there's a chance he misses a game or so with Ben White being back as well. It's true. The only thing about bench boost 35 is if I get there, I'm going to be buying players for 35 who I probably don't want in 36, because if you look at all the teams with potential doubles in 36, like if you look at who they play in 35, so Villa, Fulham at home's okay. Bournemouth are away at Arsenal, which isn't good. City, I'd already have the triple up. Spurs, I wouldn't buy. Forest go away to Palace. West Ham plays Spurs. If I'm buying players for the double, I wouldn't want them in 35. Doesn't feel really a good use of transfers. So maybe Williams is the best, and I plan to bench boost 36. And if Areola doesn't get it, then I can just sell him probably to Kepa. If Areola doesn't get it, then yeah, I'd probably sell him to Kepa. And then I can play, yeah. I mean, that could lead to a bench boost 38 scenario, but I don't think I want to do that. Dali, I do apologise. Let me take a look. Saka, Munoz, Kilman, or Palmer, Konza, Wan-Bissaka? Saka, Munoz, Kilman, probably. I probably would just start Saka. I'm not sure it's worth committing the transfers. I hope as a Chelsea fan it is, but I'm not sure it's worth committing the transfers. If you have the... Yeah, I think that's my conclusion. Eze, Raya, and Foden, or Martinez, Savinho, Saka? Eze, probably the Eze route. Is the Burn over Livramento a money thing for you? I could actually go Burn. I could do it, but I could do Burn to Livramento. I've got 0.1 spare. I just am banking that Burn doesn't pick up 2 yellow cards in his next 3 games, and he's more likely to pick up a 15-pointer and change a game week than Livramento is. I think is basically all it is. I think I'm going to go Williams, and I think I'm going to plan to bench boost 36. Whoever it was that said bench boost 36, are you still in the chat? Burn rotation prone from Botman. Botman's not back until at least the middle of May. I'd be surprised if Botman starts a... I'd be back if Botman... I'd be surprised if Botman starts another game this season. I don't know who was the first person to mention it, though. Why Williams over Konza? Just a better fixture in 36 if that's when I'm going to bench boost. Did Bournemouth post any more photos? No. Okay. What's my alternative to Foden? You need budget for assistant manager. Just going Savinho, probably. Burns on 8 yellows. Yes, but it resets after 4 more games. So if he... But it needs to be in the next 3 for him to play in the double. So it needs 2 yellow cards in the next 3 for it to be an issue for me. I'm just going Dan Burn. The boy from Blythe. Glasner or Emery for assistant manager next week. Why Flecken over Areola? Just again, a pretty good fixture. Pretty good fixture later down the line. Flecken's fixtures from 35 look really nice when I'll probably bench boost. I would like him. I'd like Kepa as well, but why not wildcard 31 if assistant manager? Because I suppose a lot of the players you're buying on wildcard 31 have a good fixture this week. If you don't need to wildcard this week, I wouldn't, because I still think the information could be useful if something happens that we don't expect. Replace Bournemouth defender with who? 4.9 left, wildcard active. Depends when you're bench boosting. You're probably looking at Konza, or you're probably looking at a West Ham defender, or a Brighton defender, or a Forest defender, depending on when your bench boost is likely to be played. Who would I get if I couldn't afford Isak? Isak is going to be the most captain player in Game Week 32. He wouldn't be the one I would drop. There are a few players in this draft I would say are non-negotiables for me. Isak, Marmoush are 2 of them. Salah is probably another. The others, you're going to own a lot of them, but those are probably... You've got to look at where the big captaincies are going to be, right? Game week 30, captaincies are mainly going to be on Salah. Game week 31 is probably going to be the same. Game week 32, it will be Isak. Game week 33, it will be Marmoush and Saka. How would I change this team? If I wasn't playing assistant manager, I would go with something that looked like this. I think, and I probably plan to bench boost 32. I think is probably planning it the better option. It's close, though. If you can afford Martinez, then maybe, but... Murray, let me take a look. It's just a lot to keep up with. What about Evan Nilsson? You can't get Mateta. If you couldn't get Mateta, I would again try and find money elsewhere. Evan Nilsson's okay. João Pedro's okay because João Pedro, again, has Leicester at home in game week 32, which could be useful for the bench boost. Any reason I like Foden so much? Just with Haaland out, we expect Marmoush to play up front, which then means we expect Foden to play in the number 10. It is a prediction, but yeah. Oh, no. That account that used to post leaked lineups and post with GIFs and stuff like that is... apparently has just put something on their Instagram story. When is Gordon back? Zane, hello. I see you. Locked team. No, not completely locked. Everyone's team is identical. Yeah, it is true. There's a lot of very similar teams. So the very small difference for those without... It depends if you want Verbruggen Dunk or you go with like Martinez, Wan-Bissaka, because it depends on if you want to bench boost 32 or bench boost 33. That's the difference, because Verbruggen Dunk have Leicester at home. Yeah, no stress for 4.2, and there's no stress for the whole of the break, and now here we are. Here we are. Why wildcard now and not later? My team needed it, and it allows me to play the assistant manager next week. Oh, Zane, I appreciate it. Legend. If you were to pick Savinho over Foden, what would I do with the remaining money? I'd probably leave some of it in the bank. I might do Eze in for Sarr, and I might do Gordon in for Murphy next week, if he's fit. But yeah, or Martinez in for Areola as well. If I can't afford Savinho, is Rodgers fine? Yes, you could also punt on Rashford as well if you wanted to, but he's less nailed with the Champions League. Any options for Foden? Is triple Man City a must? No, but when you've got fixtures like Leicester at home and a double, yeah. You have, is it a bad idea to have Verbruggen and Dunk? It's good for the bench boost in 32. You have Mateta, Milenkovic and Verbruggen in your team and one defender vacancy. And you just want to Palace players to assistant manager in 31. Should I bring in Elanga in place of Sarr to incorporate Munoz or stick with Sarr? And I'd probably go Williams. I'd probably do Munoz to Williams. But also, league lineups coming back on April Fool's Day does not fill me with much confidence that we're going to see anything that's particularly reliable. Yeah, that's my only concern. but I do have it up. Who's the better pick, Eze or Sarr? Eze, but I don't think the value is different, so I prefer Sarr. Sarr. Why no Villa players? I plan on buying them closer to the double. Isak to Watkins. And I plan on probably playing my assistant manager on Unai Emery. I know April Fool's finishes at midday, but people don't always remember that. What would I do if I can't afford Areola as your backup goalkeeper? I'd probably just go for a 3.9, and just once you get to game week 35, I'd change it. If you're going to play the assistant manager, you don't need that goalkeeper until then. Benching headache. Bench one of Kirkes, Gabriel, Munoz, Gavardio. I'd probably bench Kirkes. If you do Foden to Savinho, would I up anything else? Burn to Livramento, Areola to Flecken. I'd probably do Areola to Martinez or Kepa, and maybe Sarr to Eze. The thing was with Sarr to Eze, I do feel a little bit like I'd be spending the money for the sake of it. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. Double Palace mid or Aston Villa mid or Savinho. If you've got a spare Palace spot, then double Palace, if not Savinho. You've taken a punt on Gordon. Let's hope he's okay. He's not guaranteed that he'll play, but he is expected back in training later this week. Of course, he's suspended midweek. Saka, we don't know yet. 20 minutes to go until the deadline. Yeah. 20 minutes to go to the deadline. I have drunk almost all my water and I need the loo quite desperately. So I'm going to go now rather than leaving it towards the deadline. I will be back in 1 minute. How are we? What? Have I actually gone to the loo when if there's been team news? That would be an all-timer, that. No. If anyone sees any team news, by the way, as we always do, if you see team news on Twitter or anything, please do tag me in it. Please do tag me in it. I was 58 seconds. I said I'd be a minute. I ran. Hope Palmer doesn't punish me. As a Chelsea fan, at least I have that positive, right? Hopefully I'd get to see my team win. I think I'm going to go Williams. I'm definitely not going Mikalenko. I think I'm going to go Williams. And I'm going to go Burn, I think. And I think I'm going to pivot to a bench boost 36. I think. Has the potential to be bigger. If it doesn't, then... Did Andy need to go to the toilet as well? It's just a 2.5 hour stream. It's a long time when I'm trying to drink fluids at the same time as well. The issue is I always need it like right towards the end. And then I'm like, can I hold until the deadline? But I need to go sooner. Otherwise, the deadline gets closer and closer. And then Anyway. Any news on Morgan Gibbs-White? No, nothing. I'm refreshing Twitter and everything. I've got... I'm refreshing. Nothing reliable yet. Nothing reliable enough to show to you all. Just before we get into the final 15 minutes of Wildcard, and we'll go and do all the questions, if I could ask you to drop a like on the stream. There are 12,000 of you in, so thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, we do this every week, and we upload videos all the time on my team and helping with your teams and stuff. So if you could subscribe, that would be great. If you haven't liked already, there are over 10,000 of you in the stream who haven't liked. It just helps YouTube push it around a little bit, which would be appreciated. If we could hit 3,000, that would be great. You're confused. You've got 3 players from one team. Yeah, so I might sell one of my Palace to... who do I prefer? Williams or Burn? I'll keep it that way around. I might sell one of my Palace if I decide to assistant manager on Glasner. My plan, if I want Glasner, would be to do Munoz to Konza. I think it's the most likely. Best captain that's not Salah if chasing rank, Marmouche, I'd say. Why Foden, not Savinho? I just think Foden's more reliable for minutes now that Haaland's out. If I can't make Raya or Kepa this week. Kepa if I had both this week. By the way, the that account that normally tweets team news and stuff that used to do it, they tend to tweet exactly 15 minutes before the deadline, which would be in 1 minute. So they used to be a thing, and they did used to get Arsenal. Livermore or Burn. So I'm going Burn. I know there's the risk of the yellow card. I also feel like, I know there's bias of the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup final, but I feel like Burn's more likely to come up with a 15-pointer when he's 6'8" tall or however tall he is. So I'm just going with the chance of a 15-pointer, and I just hope he doesn't get booked twice in the next 3 games. Saka or Palmer on wildcard. If you've got loads of transfers backed up, you could go Palmer, but I'm hoping we might hear in the next 15 minutes about whether Bukayo Saka is going to start or not. I don't know how much I feel like I want to relay this league lineups account on April Fool's Day. He hasn't posted anything yet, by the way. But if it does, he tweeted that team news is coming back. Return of the league lineups. Glasner assistant manager next week versus picking 3 Crystal Palace this week. I might do both. I might pick 3 Palace this week, and then I might sell one of them. And I think Munoz has the ability to outscore Konza, for example, by 4 points to make it worthwhile going for it and then making the swap. It also I could sell Saar, for example. It gives me a little bit of flexibility depending on what I see from Palace at the weekend. And for example, if Rashford starts and looks really good, if Saka's benched, I will just bench him. I'll play Murphy. Murphy should get 90 minutes with Gordon still being out, so I don't mind that much this week. I could go Palmer, but I would have to use a transfer at some point, and it's booking too many in. Burn or Livramento? I'm going Burn, but Livramento's safer. Start 3, Munoz, Gabriel, so I'd probably bench Kirkes. If Savinho over Foden, where do I spend the money? That's the issue. If you're really close, it's worth forcing it, because if you are leaving loads of money in the bank, it's not that easy. You're probably looking at going a better backup goalkeeper, like going Martinez. You're probably looking at, you could go and go Saliba and Henderson, for example, or Saliba, Martinez, and try and get the double arse defense. That's one to look at. I'm searching Twitter. I'm searching Twitter as much as I can. I'm searching it. You went to use triple captain, assistant manager, bench boost, and free hit. If you can wildcard this week to assistant manager next week, it's probably the strongest. It really sounds like that Saka has been in team training for a few weeks, maybe most of the international break, and they've done so much of the precautionary work. That is my opinion on what I've heard from the press conference and stuff like that. Like, I think he's been doing a lot of individual work. He's been back out there. He played in a behind closed door friendly. They sound like they are very confident that they've done everything in terms of precaution that that they could have done. Is Kluivert available? He's a doubt. I'd be surprised if Kluivert starts, but I don't know that. You can do Kirkes instead of Gvardiol for team value because Gvardiol leaves me 0.2 in the bank. Yes, you could do that. I do like Gvardiol. I'd probably try and save money elsewhere. Like, I'd rather drop Raya, for example, but Gordon over Murphy, if planning to bench him this week anyway. The issue is if we get to next week and he's still out, then it's an issue. If you have the ability to bench him next week as well, then yeah, you could just do that. Which Villa players would I have if I play Emery? It will probably be Konza or Rodgers and Watkins. Watkins for Isak is going to be incredibly popular in 33. I keep getting my weeks mixed up. If Saka doesn't start, you could go Saka to Palmer. If you haven't gone Foden, you can go Saka to Foden. Or if you're like me, I'm going to bench Saka and play Murphy. But I don't know who I want to see it from if he is benched that I think is reliable enough for me to do it. That's the issue. April Fool's Day is not a good week for trying to get early team news. I can't say. Doku over Savinho. I'd probably go Savinho. Lazy FPL have not tweeted anything. I'm on everything. If you again see anything on Twitter, do tag me in it because I've got everything going at the moment. That team use FPL account I don't think is reliable, so I wouldn't believe that. Trippier or the other Newcastle options, I've just gone Burn. Martin, let me take a look. If not Raya, who needs to free up money, Martinez or Kepa would be my options. Bushman, let me have a look. Murphy and Foden or Gordon and Savinho. I'd go Murphy and Foden and try and free up that 0.1. Same chip strategy with 2.1 in the bank. You need to leave money in the bank only if you're going to play the assistant manager. Why Williams over O'Brien? Because I think I'm going to bench boost 36 instead. Burn or Livramento? I'm just going Burn at the hope of a 15-pointer, basically. Livramento's safer because of the yellow cards. Burn's on 8 yellows. He has 4 games to get through. Why Williams and not Konza? Just if Villa don't win in the cup, I'll probably end up with both if I sell Munoz to go Glasner. But if Villa don't win in the cup, Konsa's of no use, whereas Williams still is because he has Leicester at home regardless. Alanga or Sarr? What's my opinion? Sarr this week. How much do I have in the bank? I've got 0.9 with this draft. Yeah, 0.9 exactly with this draft. I get asked this every time. There'll be someone, first thing, please go and make sure that your wildcard is active if you're playing it. Go and make sure it says wildcard active at the top. And the next thing is, if you've made loads of transfers and forgot to activate the wildcard, if you still activate it before the deadline, it will wipe out all those hits. So just a couple of things which I get asked a lot, particularly in weeks on wildcard. Make sure your wildcard is active. I will see someone after the deadline on Twitter who says, I forgot to play my wildcard and I took a minus 70 or a minus 56 point hit. Please don't let that be you. There will be someone there that does it. You don't understand how I can have so much budget. You have 3 mil more than me. I did realize that when I built my team that I do have a lot of budget. People sending me the screenshot of the Flash Score app. That is always a prediction. Gianni's tweeted. Has he? I don't know Gianni's ever had Arsenal early team news before. It's not Gianni. We don't have anything yet. Yeah. One of the Newcastle reporters put Saka's back. I don't take that as gospel that he's definitely starting. Oh, he tweeted it a long time ago. That's why I didn't see it. I don't see anything on Saka. Right. Why Areola over Flecken? I don't have the money for Flecken. I literally have 0.1 spare. Why Areola? Because he's about the only goalkeeper I can afford, unfortunately. And they could double. If Forest reach the cup final. Swap Areola to Flecken if bench boost in 36. I can't afford it. Kluivert or Savinho? I wouldn't go Kluivert. Kluivert is a doubt with fatigue. If you are still looking for Kluivert news, we won't get any news because they play tomorrow, but I'd be surprised. I predict that he doesn't start. But that's the prediction. I wouldn't be relying on Kluivert. Saka will play. We're still waiting on any team news on him. Foden and Murphy or Savinho and Gordon. I've gone Foden and Murphy. Is Glasner 0.8? Yes, as is Unai Emery. They are both the same. No Arsenal news. I plan on starting Saka because I think he starts unless we hear anything different. Yeah. I don't know on Chris Woods. I don't know for certain if Chris Wood's going to play or not. Watkins over Mateta, try it. I don't have the money at all. I have to do Isak to Watkins when we get there. This was chaotic. Truly back. That's why we had to wait for 2 weeks and they give us all of this at once. Watch them announce the deadline, the doubles at 6:30 tonight as well. Ben White over Timber on a wild card, no, but I wouldn't pick either because I think they'll rotate. Gibbs White, we don't know anything on either. We've had no team news of anyone tonight. Best 4.6 goalie, I'd probably go Kepa. Clive at replacement, Savinio, Rogers, Rashford, Sarr or Eze. I like Eze more than Sarr, but I don't think it's worth the money. If you're on a wild card and you are not playing your bench boost, I would look with something like this. You could also go with Williams as your backup. Probably something like this, and I'd bench boost in 32. Probably would go with something like that if I was on a wild card that is not... something like that if you were on wildcard to bench boost. We're 2 minutes before the deadline. I mean, unless they're going to be really on it, and I think I'm just going to have to lock in the team there. You can buy Livramento. I'm taking the chance that Dan Burn scores a header at some point, and Livramento's attacking threat is not as good. We're going to be stressing on Saka team news. That is for sure. That is for sure. My chat has frozen a minute before the deadline. Cracking stuff. Is Flecken better than Martinez as a backup goalkeeper? I'd rather Martinez, particularly for doubles later. Site's crashing. Yeah. The site is really slow, and we're also into the 1 minute before the deadline. Go and check your teams. Make sure everything is locked in. I've got 0.9 in the bank for my assistant manager. Wildcard for me is active there. Refresh. This is my team. Lock it in. I can't even refresh to show you. The site is crashing a minute before the deadline. That is my... There we go. It is really slow. Please go and check your teams. Please go and check. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Is that the deadline? Has it passed? Leaked lineups, put it on their Instagram at 1:15 that Saka might be benched. Oh, dear. That's not a good start. That is not a good start. That is not a good start. Oh, well. Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. We just got to hope that they're wrong. We just got to hope that they're wrong. Well, well, well. That's what they put on their Instagram. They said they can't be as sure as before. Hard to be as sure as normal due to having to get it early. But you've been told that Saka is on the bench. Hopefully it's April Fool's. April Fool's stops at midday, though. Yeah, but if he's on the bench, I'm not going to get Jacob Murphy. Oh, right. Let me tweet my team. We'll stick around for the team news. Let me post my team. 1 sec. Palmer's going to punish it big time on Thursday. So lock. 0.9 million spare for... was fake. So let's wait and see. Hang on. As in, good luck, everyone. What? Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. Let's hope he gets a goal off the bench, shall we? Could be a nightmare. I'm just going to put it out there. If he's benched, right, they've fully conned us. They've fully conned us if... let's go and do assist. Let's go and do fancy challenge. They've fully conned us, right? They've spent 3 days posting propaganda of Saka on the timeline. Arteta has said he's ready to go. Yeah, he's fine to start. And if he doesn't start, Arteta has fully lied to our faces. Outrageous, and that account on Instagram has fully done it before. Has done it on purpose as well. What's the 043? Only midfielders and strikers allowed. Unlimited budget. Saka's going in. No, Salah's going in. They've also done it right at the deadline intentionally. Palmer's going in then. Who is the... Did the stream just die? No, Foden doesn't play until tomorrow. Oh, it just refreshed on my computer. Let's go triple Chelsea. Who else have we got? I don't know what to believe in the chat right now. Boomo. I don't know what to believe. Maybe they did it they've done it exactly on the deadline on purpose. It was on Instagram from the old account that used to post team news. But like, they've... Can't hear me? Hello? Yeah, you can. I don't know. Let's wait and see. Okay, it doesn't look great. All the accounts that tweeted saying he's gonna... No, but April Fool's stops at midday. Yeah, they did it on the deadline to troll us. They know it's the FPL deadline. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Not the start to the wildcard that we wanted. Not the start that we wanted. Anyway, I was like, we could do some future planning for next week, but there's not that much we can do. Apparently, everyone in the chat is saying half the team's benched as well, so... Well, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Nightmare. And apparently half the team is benched. Going by people in the chat. Arteta has got so much to answer for. Arteta has got so much to answer for. Oh, can't we just get the line up and... Oh, dear. What are the chances? What a start. Yeah, the whole Arsenal lineup is benched, apparently. I'm going to stay until the lineup, yeah. Arteta doesn't care about me. It's outrageous. Arteta has fully lied to us. Harry head loss. Yeah, this is as bad as it gets for me. Oh dear. Yeah, just put me out of my misery. Let me see Raya bench for Kivior. Murphy. Yeah, who's not on the bench for Arsenal at the rate the chat's going? Four minutes to go. Nicholas Bent, Henry benched. Wow. Callum Chambers starts. Oof. Oh dear. Right. What should we do for a minute? Let's just read. Anyone got any non-FPL questions? Because I've bought Saka in on my wildcard and it looks like he's benched. Anyone want to talk about something else? Anyone seen any pigeons today? Anyone seen anything else? Anyone seen anything exciting? Am I excited about my wedding? I am excited about my wedding, thank you. Yep. Very excited. We had a meeting today about some of the stuff. You saw a pigeon. Very nice. You don't like the me? Wait, is me benched, Adam? I didn't think Brentford played tonight. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. My favorite TV show. I watched a program called The Last Kingdom, which is right up there. One of my favorites ever. It's about the Vikings. Are any of the creators coming to my wedding? A couple of them. 2 of them. The Last Kingdom's goated. Yeah, it is. It is so good. 3 minutes to go. Oh, just put me out of my misery. Yeah, it's tweeted by Daily AFC. I just want to see the rest of the lineup. You always have that little bit of hope until you actually see the official lineup. Yeah, Focal's tweeted. Focal's just posting. He commented below where he got it from. You saw the Arsenal bus. Was he on it? Saka will come on and score. Let's hope. Let's hope. One minute until we get the lineups. Is my wedding FPL themed? No, it's not. No. Wouldn't get away with that one. Is the lineup later? I thought they were the early game, no? Yeah, they are. They're the early game. It's 1 minute until we get the lineups. Yeah, I've seen him being benched everywhere. Arteta has got a lot to answer for. Arteta has got a lot to answer for. Saka, will my child be an FPL professional as well? Well, I don't seem to be. So Arsenal have gone for a back... Sorry, Fulham have gone for a back 5 with Iwobi on the bench. Wolves is fine. Areola starts. Saka on the bench. Raya. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Now I've got to go and watch it and hope he comes on and scores or doesn't come on at all. Oh, dear. Anyway, they are there. Arteta's in my bad books. As is the account that tweeted on the deadline. Anyway, it is the point. We're here for the wild card. Hopefully get something off the bench. And yeah, that is where we're at. We'll be on assistant manager in game week 31. Let us wrap up the stream there. Before you go, drop a like on the stream. Subscribe if you're new around here. Outrageous. Have a good evening, everyone. And I'll see you all very soon.